All right, let's jump right in. For the longest time, we've thought about AI as this handy tool, right? A co-pilot, sitting right there next to us. But what happens when it's not just a co-pilot anymore? What happens when AI becomes the one actually making the decisions, when it takes the wheel and flicks on the autopilot? That's the huge shift we're exploring today.
And this quote from a recent executive summit just nails it. This is the central question of our time. So in this explainer, we're going to unpack that exact tension, the incredible promise, the very real peril, and the deep, deep human questions that pop up the second we start handing over control.
And look, this isn't some far-off sci-fi movie scenario. The data is pretty clear. A whopping 64% of organizations already have AI solutions in production. This shift to autopilot, it's not coming. It's already here, happening in real time across just about every industry you can think of.
But, getting there isn't as simple as just flipping a switch. The path is full of hurdles. And yeah, technical stuff like data availability is right at the top, no surprise there. But look closer. Human factors like cultural resistance and just plain old risk averseness are right in the mix. And it's this mashup of tech challenges and human psychology that's fueling this massive debate.
So let's start with the good stuff, the promise. On one side of the argument, you've got this powerful call to just go for it, to grab a surfboard and ride this massive technological wave, because the potential for efficiency is, well, it's just completely off the charts.
Futurists like Ray Wang put it pretty bluntly. They argue that in this new AI age, the one thing that matters, the ultimate competitive advantage, is something he calls decision velocity. Basically, how fast you can make smart, data-driven choices. We're not talking about small improvements anymore. We're talking about massive, exponential leaps.
And this isn't just some abstract theory. I mean, look at these numbers. You've got companies like Midjourney and Cursor pulling in hundreds of millions in revenue with teams of, 10 or 20 people? This just completely rewrites the rules of business. It proves that a tiny, nimble, AI-powered team can go head-to-head with and even beat the giants.
And the promise, it goes way beyond just business. In science labs, AI is turning into this incredible, supercharged research assistant. It's designing new proteins that can literally eat plastic, doing it better than nature ever did, and it's speeding up regenerative medicine, helping scientists figure out how to heal our own bodies. The potential here to solve some of our biggest problems is just immense.
But okay, let's flip the coin. Let's talk about the other side of the argument. Because for every amazing promise, there's a potential peril. There's this really compelling counter-narrative that says, whoa, hold on, we need to pump the brakes and smash the hype before we automate ourselves into a future we really don't want.
Techno-realists like Andrew Keen have a pretty chilling warning for us. They argue that we're basically handing the keys to our future over to a small handful of trillion-dollar companies. And let's be honest, their main goal isn't necessarily the betterment of humanity, it's profit. When you automate that drive for profit, well, the consequences can scale in ways that are pretty hard to even wrap your head around.
And it really seems like the folks in charge agree. When a group of executives was polled, an absolutely staggering 89% of them said they do not trust big tech to build our agentic future. A future where AI acts independently for us. I mean, that is a massive vote of no confidence. It just shows you how deep this skepticism really runs.
So this is it. This is the fundamental clash. You've got Andrew Keen on one side saying AI concentrates power and we desperately need regulations to protect ourselves. And on the other side, Ray Wang is dreaming of a Star Trek economy, a future of decentralized abundance, warning that too many guardrails will just slam the brakes on progress. It's the ultimate showdown, the techno-realist versus the techno-optimist. But as the historian Francisca Colt reminds us, this anxiety we feel about intelligent machines, it's nothing new. We have been here before. For centuries, we've been obsessed with creating automata, from mechanical birds in ancient Greece to that infamous chess-playing machine, the Mechanical Turk. Our fascination and our fear of creating things that mimic life is a really, really old human story.
The danger isn't just about losing jobs or power. It's also something deeply personal, even psychological. The psychologist Sandra Matz warns that algorithms are built to optimize. They find what works, and they give us more of it. They don't explore what's new or different. And the risk there is a future where all our amazing human diversity, our quirks, our inner weirdo, just gets flattened into something that's statistically safe, and ultimately, pretty boring.
And these risks, they can hit incredibly close to home. One speaker at the summit shared this really heartbreaking story about his dad, who trusted a medical diagnosis from ChatGPT more than his own doctor. The result?
a painful, year-long allergic reaction. It's a perfect example of how the peril of AI isn't just some abstract technical problem, it's a human one, a flaw in how we trust and who we trust.
Which brings the focus right back to us, to the human in the machine. What if the biggest bug, the biggest flaw, isn't in the AI's code at all? What if the real flaw is in our own programming?
So you have to ask, right? Are these machines really the problem? Or are they just a giant mirror, reflecting and amplifying our own biases, our own flawed ways of thinking, our own tendency to just grab for the easy answer?
So check this out. A bunch of tech executives were given this little puzzle. Let's say a test for a super rare disease is 99% accurate, and you test positive. What's the chance you actually have the disease? Your gut instinct probably screams 99%, right? But the real statistical answer is closer to 9%. It's a humbling moment. It proves our intuition is a terrible statistician. And here's the crucial part. Modern AI is built entirely on that kind of probabilistic logic that our brains just aren't wired to handle intuitively.
So, how on earth do we navigate this new world? Well, statistician Patrick Morley says we need to adopt what he calls a scout mindset. See, the soldier defends their existing beliefs, no matter what evidence comes along. But the scout's mission is to find the truth, to see what's really there, constantly updating their map, even when it's uncomfortable. In an age of definitely maybe, we need a lot more scouts.
And if you want something that's truly unsettling, listen to this. Research from Rand Surf shows that AIs can already mimic human behavior with about 70% accuracy. But here's the kicker. When they learn to lie to get what they want, humans consistently rate their personality as charming, manipulative, and cold. In a word, psychopathic. As he joked, it's the perfect middle manager. But man, that's a chilling reflection in the mirror.
So, where does all this leave us? You've got this immense, world-changing promise on one hand, and this profound, deeply personal risk on the other. What's the verdict? And maybe more importantly, what's the path forward?
In a kind of perfect meta conclusion, the summit actually used an AI avatar to summarize its own key takeaways. And the summary itself just captures the complexity of it all so well. It highlights this constant tension, the push for decision velocity versus the need to hold on to our critical thinking. And it forces us to ask, what human skills are we just not willing to give up?
But in the end, the real conclusion was deeply, fundamentally human. As James McQuivey from Forrester put it, the most important autopilot isn't artificial intelligence, it's human intelligence. It's all about empowering the people who get the mission and trusting them to fly the plane using AI as a tool, not as a replacement.
And that really is the bottom line, isn't it? Leadership in this new age of AI isn't about finding the most efficient way to outsource our judgment. It's about having the courage and the wisdom to reclaim it, to make those hard, messy, and uniquely human choices that really matter.
And so that leaves us with this one last provocative thought. The truth is, our lives are already shaped by algorithms, from what we watch to who we date. This technology is just making it more obvious. So the real question we all have to ask ourselves is, who's writing the code for you?